What's up, Rufflings? I got a big ol' unboxing for you, and it has been a hot minute here on the channel. Let me go ahead and get started with something that came in for another content creator who's also one of the farthest throwing, most jacked dudes in all of disc golf. Blitz Disc Golf. These are his signature series from this year. Ran a custom stamp on a bunch of different discs. The ones that I have here are the Halo Glow C-Blend Dynasty, which I do believe are the same run as in my little shoe cabinet organizer that I got that I was going to return to Amazon because I was going to use it for organizing discs, and then they said, okay, we'll refund you your money, but just keep it, which was a little interesting. But now I have it as a disc to review kind of pile, where from way back when I still have these Dynasties. Actually, this may be Halo S-Blend. It does look slightly different than these, but it could just be because it's black and white. But I have the I-Blends too. But these Eric Oakley Dynasties, I believe, are the same run as this new Blitz DG stamp is on, and it's a pretty domey run of disc. I think it sits more stable than my Sphinx, but not quite a Roman. I don't know if I'm going to keep Romans in my bag. I really like my Romans, but I'm going to mess around with the Dynasty for a little bit, so I'll probably put this in the bag for a bit just to see kind of how it goes, because I like the dome on it, and if I can trust it flat to a little bit of turn here at elevation, or maybe just normal flat to slight hyzer flip down at sea level, I'm really excited for those discs, and now I have plenty of them, but we're going to be throwing these bad boys and those probably alongside these and maybe some other cool infinite discs that are coming out. That being said, maybe one day we can be as jacked as Clint over at Blitz Disc Golf. Go ahead and follow him for sure. Puts out some really great stuff. Next, this. Actually, second. I already unboxed it because I was wearing it, and it's perfect because it comes from Ohio. It's Ohio State colors. The football season starts tomorrow for the OSU Buckeyes, looking to defend their national title. I am allowed to be a fan, even though I didn't go to OSU, because I literally wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Ohio State football, because my parents met at an OSU football game. So I feel like I could be a fan. You don't really need to justify your fandom, but for some reason I just felt like I did. This is from Groovy Cycle Works, a cycle shop in Ohio. Okay, look, I know it's not Ohio State colors, but it's close enough, and it's from Ohio, so let my nostalgia win. I don't quite know exactly where in Ohio. There's a cycle shop that sent me this because the owner is one of the winners of my 50K subscriber giveaway. So I sent him a box of this. He sent me back a shirt. Didn't have to do that. Big shout out to that. I did wear it before, and I'll probably wear it again, but it is freezing in my basement right now, so I'm not putting that thing on. Sorry, I'm not suffering for you, Groovy. Next, this guy reached out to me, and they make chalk bags. I'm actually a little pickier than I thought I'd be about chalk bags. So I'm interested to see if these are good. They said, hey, no obligation, just check them out, see what you think. It looks like they sent a couple. I appreciate you checking out Dryfly from Jose. We got three things. We got liquid chalk, which I have used before from Dirty Birdie, and I don't like it. I am a very sensory person anyways. I really don't like how liquid chalk feels. It is very useful though, and I know Ezra Robinson likes it and uses it. And maybe if it's super humid, I'll keep this around to use, but this likely will be kept on the back burner. And then two chalk bags. This one feels much heavier than this one. Who would have thought? Gosh, man. I should open these like I opened the discs beforehand, just so I know what I'm talking about. Holy cow, that's embarrassing. But yeah, goodbye sweaty hands, 100% premium cotton, high quality mountain climbing chalk, which is good. I think climbing chalk is kind of the gold standard. Let's see what it is. Made in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I do like how that looks. Shout out Dryfly on the back. I've used chump chalk before. To me, a chalk bag is really important that it's not slick or slippery chalk. This plastic can be a little slicker, and it feels good. It feels like it's dry in my hands, but it's not too slick. Some chalks, they'll dry my hands, but they will feel a little slicker. I think it just depends on what they put in it. I've felt that with a couple companies. Some of them I felt that are good. Some of them just maybe a different mixture. But yeah, I am excited to be using these. I definitely go through some chalk bags during the season, especially when I move and I'm not at Denver, where we're basically in the North American steppe, and there's very little humidity as it is. There's been more humidity though the last couple of weeks, so I'm stoked to have these. Big shout out to Dryfly right in the bag. That's a great thing about sending out a consumable-ish product. It goes straight in the bag. Lastly, we have some discs to review. This is full up. Some of these are for me. Most of these are to review because I've not been on top of getting the reviews out first crew for the last couple months. some big helps that are happening with that in my life right now. First, we have the Pathfinder. I've heard this is Eric Oakley's last signature series. I don't remember where I saw that. I think it was Thought Space Athletics. But another Glow Pathfinder, a kind of straight mid-range, straight to overstable, 5501, I believe, are the numbers that they give it. And this Glow one, I think historically has been a little more overstable. Does look just like their MVP Glow, which I've heard is actually worse than MVP's like 2.0 Eclipse plastic. I kind of tested that, and I did think that it was kind of the case where MVP is retaining their best plastics for themselves, and then the leasing companies, like a Thought Space Athletics, they're getting slightly lower, but still great glow because it's still MVP DNA. And a Mana. I think this is a softish Mana? Nope, Nebula Aura Zoandic Mana. So I'm going to be reviewing these bad boys because this year's run of these two discs I think is going to be sweet. I really like the Mana. This one actually feels a little bigger in my hand than other Manas I felt before. I bagged one and I ran one. Maybe it's because it was in the bag for a while, but this feels thinner, lower profile than this. This feels smaller diameter and a little chunkier, but I have noticed that the Nebula Aura plastic tends to do that. For instance, with this Praxis compared to like a normal bullet or Praxis, it feels a little chunkier. I don't know if it's like a density thing or whatever it is in the plastic. The Nebula Aura feels more condensed and compact than other plastics, and typically that means it's a little more overstable. So I'd imagine that these will be relatively complementary. This one at Denver especially will be here to flip up to flat. This one will be throw it flat, it stays straight with a little fade. But those are just my guesses, of course. Next is the Prodigy releases. The Lunar Soul FX4, I will say, no flashing, but it feels like it's going to be a stable run of FX4. 9.5 -2 1 are the flight numbers, but this, I mean, if you look at that profile right there, that is a pretty high wing for that style disc. For comparison, the Dynasty is 9.5 -1 2. It's the old CD2 mold, and it looks to be relatively similar height. If not, the FX2 is a higher parting line than this Dynasty, and it loves my face, so it's not focusing very well. There we go. It's also a little blunter than this, so we'll see how this flies. 750 glow, so we'll also probably see how it glows in that review. And then also be checking out the D2 750 Glimmer limited edition. I don't see the, oh wait, Khepri. What is a Khepri? Ancient Egyptian god, often depicted as a man with a scarab beetle's head. We got a scarab beetle right there, baby. The scarab beetle's habit of rolling balls of dung was seen as analogous to Khepri rolling the sun across the sky each day. It represented the continuous cycle of life and renewal. Scarab amulets were used to ensure rebirth in the afterlife. 174 gram D2. I do see a couple interesting things. I see a little bit of bubble in the rim right here. Actually, a decent bit of bubble. That is pretty interesting. I haven't really seen that big of bubbles on plastics before. And then I do feel a little, it's not quite flashing. I guess that would be what you have to classify it as. It doesn't feel bad, doesn't feel like I'm going to cut myself, but I'll probably put it on the concrete, rub it around a couple times, and it'll come off, which, not ideal, but overall, I've actually really been liking Prodigy's drivers, and I think this will be a nice, stable bomber. And lastly, this is the Tidal Tyrant Ultra Soft PA1, a very overstable putter. Mine is very flat, it's a slight puddle top, which I think a lot of people would like any super overstable putter, but it's so gummy for, oh man. Oh, that's not my favorite, but it still honestly retains some of the like stiffness to where it's not uncomfortable to throw. It doesn't feel like it's a gumminess that like melts in your hand. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm excited to throw these 3 Prodigy reviews. Also, I still am planning on doing that whole big Prodigy video. That was just honestly too many discs to figure out what to do with. I have 40 discs there. I think I have some concepts. I need to spend 30 minutes and just figure it out, if I'm being honest with you. It's a me thing. It's too hard to figure out how to make a video with 40 discs sort of thing. I just don't want to waste too much of anyone's time, mine or yours. That being said, Castoplast Sten. This disc is a catch disc by Castoplast. It is PDG approved, so you can use it in competition. And it is a Berg Glitch hybrid, but probably not. My buddy, who I played the MVP Circuit Challenge with, he had one, and I threw it. It was a cool catch disc, but one of the things that I noticed is that there's all this kind of flashing around the edge. I think because it's such a soft plastic, I mean, it's wiping right off, but it is kind of around there. But forehand, backhand can work. This plastic feels sticky in a way. It's the K4 line, so a new line of plastic, I believe. I don't think they've run it before. And it is 129 grams. Incredibly lightweight to fill a full mold. I imagine they can make this in a max weight, but it's just the type of plastic is super, super lightweight, super fun to throw. I think I'm going back to Johnny Roberts and playing a 1 disc round with this and seeing whether it compares better to a Berg or Glitch. It feels closer to, let me see, I can actually feel these things. Hypothesis coming together. Yes, feels much closer to a Range than a Berg, like a Berg SS kind of thing. But it is more shallow than the Berg here. And the Range here, it is actually similar shallowness, but this is a little more angular. So we'll see kind of what that means. I think it can work on the forehand and backhand. I'm going to be honest, my first impressions of this plastic, it's my least favorite plastic felt for Fantastiplast, like by a long shot. I don't know why. It feels like my hand's sticking to it in like not a good way. I think I'm going to wash this disc off. Maybe there's like a mold release agent that helped it get off the mold. But I see like this little white stuff down here, and the plastic itself is just like sticking to my hands in a way that's like feels like it's drying them out, which I think is going to be good for grip, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest with you. So excited to review this. Really fun disc. I think a lot of people are going to love it. Also, all these you can snag on infinitedisc.com. Big shout out, my main sponsor. Moving into other Prodigy made discs, kind of, but not Prodigy. The Mint disc, I got sent so many of these, Idol. It's released in a couple plastics already, and from what I think I saw someone online comparing it to, they were comparing it to the Prodigy Reverb. All my Prodigy discs are outside, but the Reverb was Kevin Jones' old 13-speed. I have this plastic right here, which is NT Idol first run of this year. Nocturnal is my guess, so probably the glow plastic. A Prodigy glow, not an MVP glow, I would believe, because I believe this is Prodigy made. This is a very flat run. Actually feels great for forehands. A little fast on the backhand because of how thick the rim feels. It feels like a 13-speed truly. So we'll see how that ends up flying. This Idol in the Apex plastic, which again, I think, this is interesting actually. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Because they are using the same naming system for their plastics when they're being produced by Prodigy and MVP. Like this Apex is typically Neutron. And this is definitely not Neutron. It's not a bad feeling plastic. This plastic actually feels really good. I actually prefer the feel of this plastic to a Neutron because it's a little bit tackier. Like I can dig my hands into it. This is a 162, and this feels like it's going to be a really nice shaped driver. But it looks like they're doing Nocturnal for their glow plastic, whether that's MVP or Prodigy glow. They're doing Apex for their kind of star-like opaque premium plastic, depending on the company. Maybe not opaque, but more max weight. Yeah, this feels really good, actually. I really like the feel of that. And then this is the Eternal plastic, so the see-through plastic. Again, I think this is not an MVP see-through plastic. Again, I prefer it better because it's not quite as stiff. I do see a little bit of that bubble in the rim, just like we saw in the D2 over there. And then we have this sweet little Spectrum plastic, which they're calling EX. I don't know. Maybe this is the new plastic that they're running with this, but I think I have a lightweight. Yeah, 163 is a little flatter. 174, beautiful disc, max weight. I really like Prodigy drivers. I really like a lot of Prodigy plastics. Don't like seeing the bubbles in it, to be honest with you. And I personally don't think I like keeping the same naming system. I think it makes sense because you want to be able to go online and go through all of Mint's catalog, or they want you to be able to do that and choose whichever disc based off of whether it's see-through, mostly opaque, glow, or whatever this one is. I think this would be a separate plastic, and choose your disc and have it be the same name, but it's not the same plastic. And even if plastic is different run to run, I feel like it's still made out of the same basic components, pieces, parts, ratios, and things. And MVP and Prodigy aren't having that same thing. So I personally think there should be a different name, whether that's Nocturnal 2, because I don't think everyone's in the weeds as much as I am about knowing these plastics. But let me know your guys' opinion, and if you guys think that there's any issue with this. I don't see it as like an issue, but I don't know. It seems like it's marketing two plastics as the same plastic by keeping the names the same, which makes sense from one perspective because they're all the same style of plastic, but they're not all the same plastics. So let me know your guys' thoughts. I really don't have like a full perfect opinion on it, but that'll definitely be something I talk about in the main video on the Idol. Pretty solid. I really like the feel of it. And Idol's a sick name too. And this is a pretty cool stamp. So I'm excited about that disc for sure. Next up, wow, I'm not even halfway down this right side. Luckily, some of this is for myself. But next up, I have the latest MVP drops. I have the new time lapse, the new stock reimagined time lapse. So you can tell because it's 12.5 -1 2. I think it was probably -1.3 on the other runs. And I did have the other time lapses to compare which run this actually is, V2 or V3. My guess, if Simon wants to sell a bunch of them, is going to be V3, and then he just gets a billion of the V2 sent to him. But V2 could also be a great option. It does look like it's the V3. So this is the V3 time lapse, which is what I would have preferred to be the time lapse that they run for the stock run. It was incredible on my forehand, really pushy. Also, just seeing some people throw it made sense. The V2 definitely looks a touch domier and a touch higher parting line and a little blunter. Man, this thing loves my eyes. I'm very sorry about that. But now we got the stock run. It doesn't seem to be any different at all than the V3s. If you did get your hands on a prototype, the dome might be a touch higher, but that could just be... Actually, it doesn't quite feel... To me, the V3 prototype feels a little better, but it's super subtle. This just feels slightly lower profile. I don't think I would have been able to tell too much. I don't know. Huh. Okay. Going from this to these two, these feel like within like a couple percent of each other, and this feels way off. But when I really am trying to find a difference, I think I can find a difference, but that is likely just the specific disc, because this are not 100% consistent. That means that we have the time lapse. I also have the Eagle McMahon resistor, which is an overstable 6.5 speed, which I've never really thrown before. Really cool, the Synchrony series. It is in a particle glow plastic. I don't really know what plastic this is in, to be honest with you. I'll know for final review. And then the stock Eclipse Vanish, 11.5 -3.2. So it looks like we're gonna have to get a sweet little round in with these bad boys. Next, I did not realize how many discs were in this thing when I requested it to do a review. I was gonna do Birdie or Die style and put a bunch of them in the giveaway bin. Hopefully not, but likely. It's just too many discs. And I think I'm gonna have to do it as a 27-hole course, because the next set of discs is the Ledgestone Finale set of discs. This is more discs than I bag sometimes. Let's see what these bad boys are. Holy cow. First, I think this is a Scorch or a Drive. It is a Zeus. Freaking not even close, dude. 0 for 1. Jeez. Also, if you look at it, it says Zeus on it. This is just an embarrassment of a unboxing for me. But it is a lower profile feeling one, which is why I thought Scorch. Confetti style. Pretty cool plastic. I'll know all these plastics by the time I do the actual review. For now, we're just obviously unboxing them. It feels good. It feels a little stiff. Feels great on the forehand, actually. I really like how that feels on the forehand. Feels like it's going to be neutral. So that's sweet. The Discraft Zombie is a 6-speed. I actually reviewed this as like, hey, 6 speeds are kind of weird when I was in Florida living in my van way back at the beginning of the channel. But this is the ESP Glow Zombie. 179 gram, which is interesting because I feel like normally only mid-ranges can be that. So like over 176 grams, it is 100% dependent on the diameter. And maybe this is a wide enough diameter that it can be. Obviously, because they shipped it. But yeah, Zombie, fun disc. That's 2. Zone OS in this shimmery plastic. Incredibly crazy feeling discs. Speaking of, I'm going to post this video, and I have a Discraft package on the way. So there might be a shorter unboxing coming relatively soon. I was hoping it'd be here for today. They said they shipped it last Friday, but who knows where it's shipping from, and who knows what delays we got and whatever. But yeah, Zone OS. Ringer GT Ledgestone Swirl. This... If you've seen Ricky has a disc coming out, which maybe is in the box I'm going to be getting, which is maybe supposed to be a slammer, maybe supposed to be a pig, maybe supposed to not be those, but be what Ricky wants, that's a different, maybe what Discraft wants, that's different. The Ringer GT kind of looks maybe like it would be similar to that, but it feels like it's going to be straight to understable with a little bit of glide, because this one is pop top. It is a swirly plastic, a swirly CT plastic, maybe? It feels like a base, but not a putter plastic, like putting plastic that Discraft has. So I would guess it's Swirl CT, which is they're crazy tough. This will be interesting. This will be a cool little approach disc. Doesn't feel bad on the forehand at all. Actually feels better on the forehand than the backhand by far because of that little thumb track. But this will be really fun as well. Next we have a Jawbreaker Z Flex. I'm pretty confident that this is a Flex just based on the feel of it. And this is a Scorch. Wow. This is going to be a bomber. This is one of the better feeling Scorches I've ever felt, to be honest with you, because it's not incredibly rounded on the bottom, or maybe it's not as rounded feeling on the lip to the edge there, which is kind of the last couple Scorches I felt have felt more like that. This still feels like it's going to be very understable, still feels pretty shallow, so I'm excited to see how that flies, because it looks so cool. 5 so far. Set those down. Next is a Swarm, Ledgestone Edition Crystal Flex Swarm. Oh, that's pretty gummy. Holy cow. This is going to be a great disc to have in whatever challenge. Get any short hole. I really like the Swarm as a disc. It's actually grown on me a lot as someone who wants something a little more overstable out there. So this Bobcat, I've really liked those a little. This Swarm feels pretty sweet. In the same vein, we have the Wasp overstable mid-range driver. Kind of looks like an old school stamp, which I think is sick. A little bit of that like Jawbreaker fleckiness in there, but not flexiness. So maybe Jawbreaker Z or Jawbreaker something else. Probably Jawbreaker Z. Wasp, which if you didn't know, the Wasp actually is the precursor to the Buzz. Recently, we've had a lot of discs that have no bead getting a bead, like the Luna becoming the Kratos. This actually had a bead, and then they took the bead off, and they created the Buzz. Also, I think we've recently had that with the Malta getting the bead removed, and now we have the Melita, which is the new Paul Macbeth mid-range, which I think is incredible mid-range. But yeah, the Wasp, sick disc. 7 now. This is so many discs. Color Shift XL Drive? What the heck is it? Is this a drive? It doesn't feel like a drive. No, it's an XL. Okay. XL is the mold that is now the Thought Space Athletics Persona. At least I believe, or I thought. Ledgestone seems to also be bringing some of these molds back, and this is a Color Shift ESP XL. Pretty sweet. So imagine it's going to change colors in the light, and it doesn't feel nearly as flippy as that Persona did. They probably modified it ever so slightly because the Persona feels much shallower. This feels like it's going to be a pretty sweet little 7-speed, kind of old school style 7-speed, like a T-Bird or like just something that a lot of stuff is based off of today. So I'm excited to throw that a lot more. The Sagara, whoa, Ledgestone Confetti Sagara. That is a beautiful disc. Holy cow, shout out AB for making this thing happen. Yeah, I think this is kind of like what the XL turned into. It feels a little more rounded over, maybe touch blunter, a little more power you can impart on it without it turning over as much, but this feels incredible. Super stoked to throw that. I feel like this might have to be 2 videos, but I don't, that's crazy. This is so many discs. We have a Hornet. Never even seen this disc before. Well, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. This, again, Z Flex, Jawbreaker Z Flex. I don't know the flight numbers on it, but it looks like it's going to be relatively overstable. Kind of like a Rock 3 is what it looks like in the profile there. So, a little deeper. Yeah, this seems like a Discraft Rock to Rock 3 kind of disc. Next is a Luna. This is just, looks like a Big Z Luna. This is going to also be super useful, just a straight throwing putter. One of the better feeling Lunas, I felt. I think discs are just growing on me. I don't know. I like how that feels. Nuke SS Glow Z Light. I have this in 164 to 166 grams. Nuke SS, incredibly big feeling disc. Some could call it a 15 speed because of how wide the rim is, even compared to 13 speeds that are on the market. Like this Idol, 13 speed. This, way bigger. Does feel pretty understable because they drop that rim down, while this is just quite the profile. Look at that thing. That's crazy flat. Yeah, forehand, I imagine it's going to be pretty fun. Backhand, hopefully I can control it enough, to be honest with you. That's all I'm worried about. We have a glow-looking Passion. UVZ, actually, not glow. It changes colors in the light, and it is a Passion. So it's a control driver 8-speed. Pretty sweet, straight fairway driver. Raptor. Wow, I don't know why that was so hard for me to read. That's a Raptor. Hopefully you guys can read that faster than me. It looks to be a Jawbreaker Z Flex or something similar in this Ledgestone edition. Max weight. It feels like the shoulder's a little lower. That parting line's a little lower, maybe just a little more dome. I still think it's going to be plenty overstable, but not like nearly cap wrap overstable. Pretty true to 9403. I like that Raptors are 9403, Firebirds 9304, both of which you can get in plastics that fly in those flight numbers. But I think Raptors tend to be closer to 9403 and Firebirds tend to be closer to 9304. But each disc is kind of its own thing. And the last one. This feels incredibly light. It's a Cicada. I mean, just look at that plastic. How heavy is this thing? I don't see a weight marker on it. Or maybe this is the weight marker. 111 grams. Yeah, this is lighter than the Sten. Holy cow. I still don't like this. Wow. Ooh, that feels weird. I don't know if someone knows what that is, let me know, because I'm a sensory kind of guy. I have like stuff feels a certain way and it like really gets on me, and that is one of those things that is like that. But yeah, this Cicada, excuse me, this is gonna be a trick disc. Hopefully I can birdie with it. That being said, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of these discs. Holy cow. I think I'm going to have to go to a 27-hole course and try to shoot at least 15 down. Or get a buddy. We both play out of this bag, and we try to birdie with all of them at an 18-holer. That might be a better idea. Let me know which one you guys want to see in the comments, but that is just so many discs for the Ledgestone finale. Again, snag these on Infinite. There's a lot of them, as you could tell. Okay, one side down. Second side mostly is just for me, not a lot for reviews. I have not used much of my allotment this year in terms of what I get contractually, which is never, it's not like something I track super closely, but I was like, hey, I ran out of Sphinxes basically, giving a bunch of them away and selling some of them. But yeah, I got a team stamp, double team stamp Sphinx, found a non-Halo Halo Sphinx, run 21 in the X-Outs. So they put a team stamp on it. That's pretty cool. So yeah, this is Halo, but it looks like kind of white on white Halo or transitional Halo. So that's pretty sweet that Robbie put that in there. Big shout out. Let's see just how beautiful these are. If you want to snag these, of course, you can do them on Infinite. And when I'm posting this video, all Infinite is marked down automatically on the site through Labor Day. There's a big Labor Day sale going on. So go check out Infinite, see if there's any deals. If you have never bought through there before, you can sign up with your email just to get a 10% discount code off of everything and get an even deeper discount on my Sphinxy boys. But yeah, this beautiful red and black stamped. These came out really cool. We got a couple red ones right here. I really like these discs, man. They came out so pretty. A couple of these blue and whites. Man, shout out Robbie for just hooking up all these differences. Like a pair of each of them. This is so clutch. Pair of these guys. The ones with the black rims I've noticed are a little bit touch more dome and a touch more overstable out of the box. They fly closer to a stock Dynasty than a stock Sphinx, but they're still flippy discs, especially as they beat in, or if you're at a lower elevation, or if you put it on turn, it'll hold it. And then yeah, cotton candy, beautiful guys. I didn't really have many of those left, so got some of them. And a disc that's actually been in my bag that I think they forgot they sent me, which I'm kind of stoked about because I talked about it in a video, but it's nice to have more. The best run of Exodus yet is what he wrote on here, and I think it's true. This one actually feels slightly less flat than the one that I have, but this is such a good run of 7-speed. It is super straight with a little fade, incredible feeling, kind of gummy C-blend, reminds me of the old Innova Jolly launcher plastic, which is what I had a Thunderbird in when I first started playing disc golf. I got it at my first MA2 win in Las Vegas, and then yeah, a couple more of these beautiful other just clear Exodus. Man, these things feel so good. And then a team stamped one. This one's pretty. Holy cow, the blue and gold. Yeah, that's a win. And because I want to throw far again, I have all of these bad boys, which are iBlend Emperors. Probably the farthest flying distance driver out there, I would think. At least got to be close. I got a 167. I got a couple light ones. Great amount of dome, slightly lower parting line. Just, especially as it beats in a little bit and gets to that sweet spot, these things go forever, especially these orange ones. I don't know what it is about them, but I got two 167s in the orange, three 167s in the orange. If I'm looking for a max distance shot that goes unreasonably far, this is oftentimes what I'm reaching for. And then I have some max weight ones as well. Still, actually even domier on these ones, but still like comfortable enough. Yeah, iBlend Emperors are just so good. That's what these Kona discs are down there as well. Those are a little swirlier iBlend though. These stock ones, something about the dome is great. I think I have to run more iBlend Emperors if I'm honest with you sometime this year. They're just such good discs and they're great prices. It's Infinite's proprietary blend. They're always a couple dollars cheaper than a Star blend, which is pretty clutch. Next up, we have another disc that I requested because I was really liking it, but unfortunately, after reviewing the Procyon, I think that's going to take this slot. I was looking for that straighter 11-speed. Robbie's favorite hand feel is this Czar. I really like this Czar as well. I'm going to have to, I didn't put it in the comparison because the last Czar that I had, I lost when I was playing with Jesse a week ago. But this Czar is in this S-Blend plastic. It is just, I think the old T-Rex mold or a modified old T-Rex mold from Innova. It's like a slower Wraith, a very control driver disc. And I really just have loved how it's been flying. And so I requested a bunch of them. And so I got this in the Swirly S-Blend. I got a couple of these Halos, which have a little more dome to them. Actually a little pop-toppy. Beautiful, beautiful disc. I really like how this is. Yeah, these look so incredible. And then I got a purple and white Halo, little pop-top. So yeah, this is probably going to fight with the Procyon for a slot in my bag, both of which I just really love. But yeah, check out the Czar. Pretty underrated mold from Infinite. And lastly, is a run of Conquerors that is coming out, maybe is out, is the Concrete Conqueror. He says it's less stable, closer to 12503. Conqueror is the old PD2 mold. And so if you're looking for like a luster metal flake PD2, this would be very similar to that because concrete is a luster mixed with a metal flake. And this is the Run 4 Conqueror. Overstable driver, much meaner looking wing than the Emperor. But this plastic, it feels like I can really dig into it. I really like how these feel. I don't have a Conqueror in the bag right now. I just have Halo Emperors. But maybe I think about something like this. Yeah, these came out feeling really nice. Sweet. Concrete Conqueror should be coming out soon. I'll leave all these links down below. That's it. This video turned out way longer than I expected, which makes sense when I have a bunch of discs. Hopefully more of these to come as I get on top of all the new releases and create a schedule along those lines. Thank you so much for watching this channel and the main channel. My thoughts about the Pro Tour schedule may be coming out soon. Maybe I don't make that video. We'll see what happens. But that's that. See you soon. Peace.